So, hi, Marina. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Cool. So, today on Obis, we're speaking with Marina Ollero, the founder of
Mhm.
In a Woman's Body. And we're so grateful to have you here. So, could we start by, could you tell us a little bit about what In a Woman's Body is about?
Yeah. So in a woman's body is about basically what we want is to empower women in their sexuality. And the idea is to create safe spaces for women to speak about their sexuality and to connect with their bodies and also to share their sexual experiences so they can feel that they are not alone in wherever they are going through. And also we want to build knowledge about female sexuality because we believe there is a lot of knowledge out there, but it's still not in the mainstream areas, in the media and everywhere. So what we want is for women to know how their sexuality works and how their body works, and to feel more connected with all of that.
Perfect. I mean, so what was the inspiration? So, what made you start it?
Yeah. So there was a day that I was walking the street and I saw a woman being abused by her partner, psychologically abused, not physically.
Okay.
And I tried to speak with her and help her out, but she decided to go with him. And I felt like really hopeless. And I cried for an hour and I felt like, I cannot believe that this is happening in the world and we are still here, and we don't have a solution and this is so unfair. And I felt all this pain inside of me. And I promised myself I want to do something with that. This is just like not fair.
Yeah.
And at that moment also I was working with my own sexuality and I was going to workshops about sexuality and I was seeing how many women, myself included, were having issues around our sexuality. And also I saw the potential that sexuality had to empower women.
Yeah.
And as I forgot to say before, that one of the reasons why In a Woman's Body is founded is to end sexual harassment in the world. So I saw that connection about sexuality and empower women their sexuality and ending sexual harassment in the world. And I also saw how not many teachers were working with this theme in a global scale, in a big scale, to really finish this theme. And I saw that there was something that could contribute with, and that's how I decided to found it.
Yeah, for sure. So, want to make sure I understand. In Woman's Body is sex coaching and a podcast, or can you explain like what are the different
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
components of each of the company?
Yeah, so Women's Bodies, as it has the education part and the safe spaces part to educate people around their sexuality, I decided that the best way to do that was to create a podcast because it's a free platform where people can just tune in from everywhere and really listen experts that are working around sexual health, also menstrual
Right.
health and women health. And so there, I'm in the podcast, In a Woman's Body podcast, that everybody can find in iTunes and all platforms. You can listen to really interesting teachers who are working around this theme are Cheryl Winston, Emily Nagonski, Claire Baker, Tammy Lincoln, like everybody who's doing
Very
something
cool.
interesting. We try to bring them there and ask all the questions that we have so women can also see these teachers that they went through their own journey in order to arrive where they are. So we can also feel like, oh, I can also do it. It's also possible for me, and kind of humanize these teachers that we just read them books and so on. And also so that we can explore what it means to be in a woman's body, because that's also the
Mm.
name of our project. And this is something that is not defined. And we tend to think like in a woman's body is this, but we don't know and nobody knows. And it's something that we are working on in this time in the society, I believe. So that's the podcast. And then we have events and workshops, and we are trying to create also online offers to give this education. But they would like to mix education with creating supportive spaces. And that's how we mix those things, because we believe community and support in women is really empowering to feel that they are not alone, as I said before. And
Yeah.
then we offer the podcast, the events and so on, and workshops and online offers. And then there's the coaching for people who want to work more one-to-one and have this
Gotcha.
continuous support for like to go really deep and really heal themselves in the sexuality and understand also, because it's just such a complex topic, and your sexuality is a mirror of your life that you don't really know
Yeah,
sometimes why I feel in that way. So for people who want to get that, we offer coaching too.
very cool. So could you tell me a
Yeah.
little bit more about your sexuality coaching, I guess, philosophy?
Yeah.
What is like the bigger picture when you're approaching people who have maybe encountered harm or maybe have just a complex relationship with their sexuality, with their bodies?
Yeah.
What is your coaching philosophy?
Yeah. So for me, always the base to have a healthy sexuality is to be able to connect with yourself. So the base is to grow this connection back. So as you might know, many women have gone through sexual harassment in their lives. 81% of women usually report that. So what this makes the consequence of that in woman's life is that they don't feel the world is safe anymore. They don't feel the body is safe anymore. So they numb themselves and disconnect from their bodies. And this is something that I see a lot. And what happens with that is you disempower yourself basically because your body has a lot of power, and so you don't know what you want because you cannot feel it and you cannot feel your body and you cannot connect with that body because there's a lot of pain inside there and you don't want to feel it.
Yeah,
So the first thing that we do is to bring back this connection with the body and to bring back this idea that your body is safe. And also this is a representation of how you feel in your body usually is a representation of how you see yourself in the world. So also to bring back that the world is safe, which this completely shape in how we relate with other people and how we feel entitled to speak out as women, which is something that again happens a lot. Like women don't feel like it's safe for them to see their truth and so on. So
yeah,
we do that, and then when you can connect with yourself, I teach women to understand what is their desires and what they desire and so on. And then I help them to communicate that. So that's basically the structure: to first connect with yourself, then begin to understand your desire, your pleasure, what you like, but in general, and then to communicate and set your boundaries and express that in a healthy way. And that's how we do it. And actually now we are offering free discovery sessions of 50 minutes, so women can experience for 50 minutes how it would look like, and they just have to go to our website www.inawomansbody.com to check it out. And if they don't find it, they can also send us an email to hello@inawomansbody.com, and I can send them all the information. And I think that's really valuable to feel how it would be to have someone who really cares about you being
yeah.
empowered in your own body.
I think that's fantastic, and very and very necessary. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'll even send you an email after we talk. So kind of thinking about the sex toy industry and the sexual pleasure
Yeah.
space, what role do you think sex products can have in your pursuit? Uh, Not necessarily in your pursuit. So let me rephrase. What
Yeah.
role do you think sexual wellness products can have in your practice, but also in greater sexual wellness?
Yeah. So I think for a long time, sex toys were for having this quick orgasm, and I think that's something that is a trending that is ending. And now it's more to connect with ourselves and also to go deeper in our orgasm and our pleasure and to understand it better. And I think, for example, pleasure ones, they are really interesting. Pleasure crystal ones, they are focused more on helping you to go deeper into your body. And for example, I'm a holistic pelvic care practitioner, and something that we can see, yeah, and something that we see is that many women have a lot of tension in their pelvic muscles, and that's one of the reasons why women don't cannot reach this orgasm. Is not that much about this clitorial orgasm. Most people can reach it, but when you want to go deep, you can't, and that's because of your pelvic muscles. And again, that goes together with don't feeling safe and traumas that we hold in our pelvic muscles. So I'm
Wow.
really interested, yeah, in like sex toys that work with that issues and that work with connecting women with their bodies and so on. And I think this is a trend that I'm seeing, and I'm really interested in see how that goes, because that's great to have a toy that helps you to remember your connection with yourself, to go deeper into your body, and all that stuff, and to kind of create sacred space or a beautiful space for you to self-pleasure and also let go of this shame and this guilt that we have around self-pleasure. And I think that's also a big block for many people is depending on your culture, shame or guilt.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
all of it. I mean, what else can you say after that, right? Because it's just
Yeah.
so true. So true. Okay, well, sweet. If you can give anyone, I guess, a couple pieces of advice,
Mm.
if they were looking to enter the sex coaching space, the sex education space, what advice would you give them?
For people who want to work with our clients
Yeah, or just work with clients in
or with,
general
mm,
in the kind of like the sex wellness and the
yeah.
female empowerment space.
Mm. I think the first thing is that you should work, or I would recommend them to work with their own sexual issues because you can only guide people as deep as you go. And then also because we tend to project a lot on people. So if you are not aware on your own stuff, you will tend to project on your clients, and that's really unfair, obviously, as a practitioner. And then the other thing is to, I was thinking about it today, to be able to be with pain. So something that I see with many people is this inability to sit with pain. And I think when we cannot be with pain, we press people into their healing process because we cannot stand it. And we think like, but you should feel better. And that's such a pressure for a client. And you cannot really let the whole cycle of healing and pain complete. You cannot just sit there and say, I can feel your pain and it's painful, but we are going to sit together and solve it together and it's fine as long as you have pain. I will be still here. I think that's something that practitioners need to learn because sometimes also many practitioners come from having traumas with that issue, and when they learn it, they want to pass it on. But sometimes they have not worked with that trauma enough, and they don't allow people to be with their pain, and that's dangerous for me. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. This has been very enlightening and just deep. I mean, I really
Mm.
appreciate you coming on. You've said it earlier, but I want to let people know where can people find you online?
Yeah.
Social media, on your website. What's up?
Yeah. So our website is the best place to go, so you can find all the information, and that's www.inawomansbody.com. And I really invite people to subscribe to our newsletter because that way we send always a bi-weekly newsletter where we explain about practical tools that you can apply to your life, and also I share personal stories and so on. So I think it's a really beautiful place to be, and also we are growing this online community. So I think that would be great for people. And then if you want to have daily updates, we have our Instagram in a woman's body. And then the podcast is a great place to go and find resources and go deeper into really different perspectives about female sexuality, but also about birth, about menstruation, about pleasure and everything in between. And that's also in a woman's body, and you can find it on Spotify and or iTunes. And again, if you want to get these free coaching sessions for 50 minutes, again, go to our website and check it out.
Yeah, awesome. I'll also put all the links in the show notes so
Perfect.
that people can find them really easily. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you for the beautiful questions that you did.
Thank you.